Good morning, everyone. It is August 23rd, Monday. So we'll start with the cheaper stocks first, the small caps, VVOS. So without looking at the news, the stock is a long-term downtrending chart. And we prior days close is about 380 right here, $4, call it that. Today we're gapping around to $6. You can see the $6 area. That's the prior resistance on the daily and prior support. So that's the reason that's gonna be the key level for today. And you can see even pre-markets already kind of tested that area a couple of times too. So that's gonna be key to determine the short-term direction of the stock. Now let's take a look at the news. So they granted FDA clearance on one of the devices for treating OSA, which is a sleep disorder, breathing and snoring in adults. So, that's positive short-term news, but I don't think it's anything groundbreaking enough for the stock to really go back all the way to highs around the daily. It's technically a bag holder chart, and the stock needs to be at least around sevens and eights to kind of have those heavy resistance we're looking for. But we're already testing and bouncing out that $6 area. I think given that it's Monday, we could see some short-term breakout from $6. So that's going to be the key today. The long would be, at least for me, if I long the stock, would be scalps only, knowing that there's a lot of resistance up here around sevens and eights, but the stock is trading at $6. So that's still like at least $1 upside for the longs. Let me check the float really quick. Okay, it's a bigger float, so I don't think it's gonna do anything crazy. 17.1 million shares float, traded 700,000 pre-market, around 111 million market cap. So definitely small cap, lowering institutional ownership, insider ownership 24%. That's not high. So I think this won't be a volatile trader. But I do think it could at least test sevens, and then before the eventual fade. I think this is going to be purely a momentum stock, and once the highs tops out, then it's going to have some more downside. So $6 upside to sevens, like we talked about, sevens and also 750s and $8 if it does push towards that. Stock is hard to borrow. And if we break down the $6, it's gonna test 540s and potentially back to high fours. Yeah, so that's VVOS. Pretty sure it's hard to borrow. VOS. Let me just check. It's okay. It's about like a cent. No, you can get it for like 0.9 cents at Cobra. So it's pretty cheap. But the float on this is not that low. So I don't think it's gonna be a crazy those volatile ones that we see squeezing for like $2-3. But I think there will be trades for both sides on this. As long as it holds above the key level, it's still bullish, can still go up higher to sevens and eights. But up here around the sevens, that's the area I'll start looking for short on VVOS. Technically still a downtrending chart, right? Bag holder chart. Okay. Next one we're going to talk about is Uber. I saw a couple of people talking about it already, pre-market. So pretty big gap down from, my bad. Pretty big gap down from call it $40 prior day's close down to 37s. Pre-market, it already kind of started bouncing off, but let's take a look at the news. So they're trading lower after a California judge ruled that classifying their gig workers as independent contractors rather than employees is unconstitutional. The company also announced an offering about 25.3 million shares by selling shareholders. So short-term wise, this is definitely a bearish case for Uber. But I thought I had heard similar news about being ruled, or maybe that was a different state. I'll have to double check, but I forgot, I don't think it was California, a judge ruling that their contractors should be employees instead. I don't think that's brand new news, but maybe that's new in California. I have to double check on that. But I've definitely heard that before. But big gap down, no, that is a bullish, sorry, not bullish, sorry, can't talk on Mondays, bearish case for Uber. So key level, this $38 that started bouncing on. $37.95 on the midway to 38. Come on, one more sentence. Okay. $38. That's gonna be key for Uber. So if you're looking for the short side, because it's still a bearish case for Uber, you want to wait for the big bounce, right? You want to wait for at least to bounce to. I'm kind of looking at like at least $39.50 here, and then prior day's close if it goes above that. That's kind of the area I'm looking to short. If you're looking for a short side, if you're looking for a long, which I saw some members trading this already, essentially you're bouncing this off some key, some daily levels, right? This $38. Yes, the pre-market levels, but if you kind of look at a daily, that's also the daily levels, the prior resistance back in mid and late 2020. So this $38, that's the reason it's going to be key for today as well. I do think the bounce could bounce to the 39.50s, and I don't know about prior day's close. It's possible. It could do that, but I think the bounce would be short term. Unless the market really rallies and everything just gets bought back up. But I do think the news probably would have more downside on Uber. So short, looking at this area, 39.40s, above that we have 40s. That's the areas for short selling. If you're looking for the long, you want to at least get in closer to 38 or dips towards the VWAP area if that holds. But I do think the long will be more of a, it might be a scalp because I think the bigger picture wise, it's going to fade. Downside, if this thing $38 cracks, this is going to, first of all, the pre-market lows, 37.60s, and you have 37s and potentially lower, but we'll see. 37s first. Right now, market's still holding up. Pre-market, looking at SPY and Qs, it's still holding up some gap pre-market. So if it continues to hold up, then I don't think we'll see volatile sell-off on Uber. I think it's going to be a slow fader. It's not that volatile. So that's Uber. So next one, I want to talk about Mara, but let's take a look at Bitcoin first. Bitcoin kind of want to go to 5-minute charts. So we're back to the 50,000 psychological support. What a move. I guess the lows this time around was around 30K. Now we're testing 50K. That's gonna be a pretty big psychological support or resistance. We're gonna test it a couple of times, but that's a big move for Bitcoin. So hence that's the reason Mara and Riot. And there's a couple other smaller Bitcoin names gapping up. Mara came from 35.20s prior day's close, which is Friday. And today we're testing 38, 37, high 37s, 38 pre-market. So this white line here, this white line here is around 37.60s. That's the prior highs from August 9th, the beginning of this month. And we're kind of testing that pre-market. And if you draw that line up across, that's going to be like the prior support, prior resistance over here on the daily. I think a lot of times we see these huge gap ups on the Bitcoin, and with Mara and Riot follow suit. A lot of times they sell out, they'll kind of break out, push through at the open and sell off some of the gap. This is a pretty big gap. This is more, like a $2, more than $2 a share gap. So I think this key level 37.60s, if this thing breaks down at the open, we're gonna test at least 37s. And then maybe that's 37 or 37.50s. That's where it gets bought back up and continue the uptrend. If you draw a trend line for Mara, and given that if Bitcoin does keep holding that 50K mark, So if you're trading this, you want to have a BTC chart open on the side. So it's been holding, it's kind of trying to test the uptrend from, this is the first screen days from 1, 2, 3 days ago. So I'm expecting some retracement. I want to buy the dips on the stock around 36.50s. 37 is a small support, but with the opening volatility, a lot of times these stocks, they can sell off a lot more than you think. So the short will be if it pops at the open to test maybe 38. So you have also daily resistance around 39.70s and then 40s, but that's all the way up there. If it sells off the gap at the open, downside to 37, 36.50s, that's why I'm kind of looking for the long to continue this uptrend for the last couple of days. But of course, you want to have Bitcoin futures open on the side. Think of swim, it's backward or forward backward slash BTC. But you can kind of look at this on trading view as well. Mara, I don't have a strong bias on this. It just depends on what Bitcoin is doing. I usually have BTC charts open on 5 minutes on the side if I'm trading Mara. Next one, Baba. So the Chinese stocks, Baba, this other ones like Baidu, Tencent, they've been kind of selling off a lot from of course, the pressure with the Chinese stocks. So today, I'm just kind of looking for a technical play on Baba. Things are still pretty much, things haven't, the threat of being delisted in the States hasn't changed. I'm just looking for a technical bounce because this is oversold. If you look at kind of the volume, it's been selling off. This what we call parabolic sell-off to the downside, which is the exact opposite to parabolic breakout to the upside. Is when you see on the daily stocks just go straight up. A good example is AMD. This is what we call a parabolic move. When a stock goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Multiple days, usually more than 4, it's when it starts getting parabolic, and you have increasing volume on daily. This emotional buying and shorts getting squeezed, right? Now for Baba, it's the opposite. Well, I'm just talking about technically speaking. I'm not talking about the fundamentals. Technically speaking, this has also been selling off for multiple days from like 195, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or you can call it 6 if you don't count these ones, but from 190s down to 150s, that's a huge haircut. So in this case, this will be the people trying to buy, buying the falling knife, stop losses getting hits. That's causing all these volume on the selling side. So this is also very extended to the downside. If you kind of look at the white line I have here, 158, 159, that's kind of the levels from mid-year 2019, some small support there. But I think if you're looking for the technical bounce, you have to wait for confirmation, because today it might just be another day where it just goes even lower, right? So that's why it's the parabolic parabolic upside charts like AMD and parabolic downside charts like Baba, they kill a lot of short sellers and long traders respectively, because people keep on trying to pick the tops or people keep on trying to pick the bottoms for Baba. So psychologically speaking, it's important for Baba to stay above green after about 20 minutes of the open. We're essentially looking for the first green day to bounce the stock, and you're not gonna get a confirmation for first green day within the first 10 minutes of the open. Because if you kind of look at, so we're holding green on the day. So that's the reason this is the yellow line right here, right? So that's the one, which is called 158. That's prior day's close. For the stock to be holding green, it needs to hold above that prior day's close. Started bouncing out pre-market, but again, pre-market doesn't say much. For a stock like Alibaba, you want to wait for the open and see if they test the key level. So if they break down, I don't want to see people trying to pick the bottom after the stock goes red on the day. Okay, if you're looking for the true first green day bounce play, give it 20 minutes and see if it's actually holding green on the day, and around 158 or even above 159, above 160s, then you have the big bounce day towards at least 164, potentially 166. Okay, so that's only if it holds green. If it does not, then if it goes, red on the day, green to red, then it's probably gonna test at least 155s, and even lower on the day that you have 150. Yeah, down here 153 and then 150. So pre-market, there's no trade on Alibaba for me, but I'm kind of looking for whether it's gonna hold after 20 minutes or so. Okay, so those are the main watches: VVOS, Uber, Alibaba, and Mara. Now we're gonna talk about side watches now.